45 years has passed since the U.S. space agency NASA put the first 2 astronauts on the moon. Some of you may remember the budget for Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo programs totaled more than $25 billion then. Translation, that's $110 billion today. At its peak, NASA's budget represented more than 4% of the entire federal government's budget. That has now slipped to less than half of 1% today. Many say that without the Cold War or race to the moon, NASA has lost its way. Remember, they canceled the shuttle program just a few years ago, and now with competition from Russia and China, things get interesting. Experts say that NASA needs a new global mission to stay relevant. Similar to that plot in that movie, Armageddon, with the killer asteroids that could destroy the Earth. Well, Ginger Vaughn reports.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It's been 45 years since Neil Armstrong said those famous words as the first person to walk on the moon. Since the end of the Apollo program in 1972, the space agency's budget has steadily declined. Yet NASA has its sights set on a manned mission to Mars by 2035 and a plan to send astronauts to an asteroid in the 2020s.
But some question, is the investment in space still worth it?
It is, says aerospace engineering professor Dr. Wallace Fowler. And now it's time, he says, for NASA to focus on a new mission, saving Earth by detecting and deflecting asteroids heading our way. He says our planet is overdue for an asteroid like the one roughly 10 kilometers across that hit 65 million years ago and killed off the dinosaurs.
It may not happen for another 65 million years, but we're statistically overdue at this point. The problem is that there may be an asteroid out there, not in the next year or 2 or 3, but there may be an asteroid out there big enough to hurt a city or maybe kill civilization as a whole. NASA needs a mission that excites people, excites NASA, excites the engineers there, and they need a way to go.
Fowler is not alone. Edward Lu, former astronaut and founder of a nonprofit foundation, is working on building a space telescope to find potentially dangerous asteroids that could hit the Earth.
When you look at the Earth from space, you realize how vulnerable our planet actually is as a whole. The Earth's been hit thousands of times before by large asteroids, and will again unless we do something about it. And in the end, I don't think there's anything more important that we could do than to prevent that. Otherwise, we're all someday going to get wiped out. We know that.
To accomplish an Earth-saving mission of this sort, Fowler says, we need a planetary space program.
There needs to be not a U.S. NASA effort. There needs to be an international effort. Everybody needs to get behind it because it's not going to just save the U.S. if something's coming along. It's going to save all of us. It's going to save the inhabitants of Earth. It's a way to protect our planet, and we may not need the protection. But on the other hand, if we need it, we're going to need it badly, and we're going to have to just put all of our sources into the same bucket if something comes up and try to deflect this thing.
Fowler says given NASA's tight budget, he sees private collaboration with companies like Boeing, SpaceX, and Sierra Nevada as a way to reach its space goals. Ginger Vaughn, CCTV, Houston.